Okay. So tonight we will be exploring a topic that cut across every ministry, every department, and every desk. Speech written, a tool for effective communication. In public service, speech are more than words. They influence decision, driving policies, communicate government vision, and inspire public confidence. Whether you are drafting a memo, preparing talking points, presenting to management, or supporting your principal communication, the ability to write clearly, persuasively, and professionally is a critical skill. To guide us through this highly relevant topic, we are privileged to have with us a seasoned administrative communication strategist and respected permanent secretary, Mr. Kadiri Semi Oluwasanu, Permanent Secretary, Office of Chief of Staff. With years of practical experience in crafting executive speeches, policy statements, and high-level communication materials, he brings a wealth of insight that will be of immense value to every one of us here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining on time. Please get your jotter ready, stay attentive, and prepare your question for interactive segments. With honor, I welcome our facilitator, Mr. Kadiri, the PS Office of Chief of Staff. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see your emojis. Let your emojis keep on coming to welcome our permanent secretary. We have almost 800 here, and I'm seeing only 2 emojis. Let your emojis keep on coming for God to honor us today. Thank you very much. Despite our guy is very busy, still give us a chance to hear from him. Good evening, sir. You have the floor, sir.
Very good evening and warm welcome to everyone on this call. I humbly join the coordinator of this program in welcoming you all. And I also want to thank the coordinator for inviting me to share my little knowledge and experience with you all. Just about 30 minutes before now, I got a call from somebody and said this session is actually being organized for the purpose of promotion exercise that is ongoing. And I said, well, I was not informed about that. What I believed was that this session is a regular one and a platform where people within the public service share their knowledge and experience for better and improved service delivery. But in any case, whether for promotion or for personal development, is still okay. Well, the title of this interactive session, as the coordinator has just said, is Speech Writing, a tool for effective communication. Well, there are some words that requires our attention. Speech writing effective communication. What do we understand by communication, if we may start on that note? We need to understand how communication and speech writing strengthens public service delivery. And in this, I think about 1 hour, we will explore the essence of communication in governance. We will try to understand how effective speech writing drives clarity and accountability. And also, we will learn the principles that make communication impactful and professional. Well, sorry, I don't have a slide presentation. So I believe that everyone on this call will have their pens and papers to jot down some things. I'll try as much as possible to um, take it slowly, but also mindful of the timeline that we have. So, what is communication? Communication simply is the art of passing on a message or information, and it happens between at least two people. There is the one that is passing on the message, and there is also a receiver. Communication is also the lifeblood of administration, connecting ideas, actions, and people. It transforms policies into practice and intentions into impact. It builds understanding, coordination, and unity across departments. You will agree with me that without communication, governance loses direction and coherence. Everything we do in the public service or in governance generally revolves around communication. Where there is poor communication, then there will be no coordination. There will be poor understanding or no understanding at all, or misunderstanding. And there will be no direction. There will be mistrust between the government and the people. So communication is very important. I've talked about, I just mentioned something now, public trust, or what you can, or citizen trust. Because communication links leadership vision to grassroots implementation. It strengthens transparency and public confidence. It also encourages teamwork and information flow within institutions. I'm very sure that all of these are self-explanatory, but where I need to expatiate more, I will do that. Now, let us look at communication process. We have the sender, we have the message that is being passed, we have the channel through which the message is being passed, we have the receiver, and we have the feedback. Each of these link is very important because it is a process where one of the links is deficient, then communication is distorted. So every stage must be deliberate and clear from the sender to the receiver. The message must be deliberate and clear. If you look at that chain or the process, you have the feedback. The feedback is a crucial link. And it's actually tells us how clear the message that has been passed is. Because every communication has the objective of or a goal, which is, you want the receiver to act in a certain way. So if the receiver is not acting in that way that is expected, then something is wrong with the communication. And we have the noise, where there are unclear instructions and conflicting directives. There is distortion in the meaning of what has been said. And where you have this, then the feedback may not really be what is expected. So we look at the basic components of communication. The basic components. We just looked at the process, the communication process. Now the components. We have the message, we have the medium, we have the receiver, feedback, and context. Each of these components contributes or determines how effective the communication will be. Now, there is something here, the medium, which can be oral, written, or digital. Whichever medium that is chosen must suit the message and the audience. The tone and the language must align with institutional standards. Now, barriers to effective communication. Now, by the way, I should have said this in the beginning. We must ask ourselves, what is effective communication? When is communication considered to be effective? Very simple. It is effective, communication is effective when the message is understood the way the sender wants it to be understood. And the feedback also aligns with the intention of the person that has sent the message. So that is when it is effective. Now, barrier to effective communication. We have physical barriers, psychological, semantic, and organizational. We must avoid technical jargons in our communication. Some people, you know, in um, trying to impress and to show that, they are very good in the English grammar, they use unnecessary words, which at the end of the day will be tantamount to nothing being said. So we must, as much as possible, avoid technical jargons. So it can be considered as barrier to effective communication. We must address emotional or attitudinal barriers through empathy. And we must also try as much as possible to overcome hierarchy-induced silence by encouraging open dialogue. So now, when is communication effective? I said, I just said something about this a moment ago. Simply, communication is effective when it achieves understanding, clarity, and action. When it achieves understanding, clarity, and action. That action is the feedback. Now, effective communication is clear, it is timely and purposeful. The receiver must interpret the message as intended. It must aim for impact, not just transmission of information. So I hope we understand all of these. It must be clear, it must be timely and purposeful. The receiver, this is very important in communication. The receiver must interpret the message as intended. And if we must achieve this, we must avoid some of the barriers that I've just mentioned. Make it simple. There is a principle when that is always emphasized when we talk about communication. That is KISS, KISS. Keep it short and simple. Now, let us get into speech writing as tool for communication. Now, there are two broad means or ways or types of communication. We have the verbal and non-verbal. Verbal communication is expressed through words. Non-verbal, sometimes through body language, unspoken words, but very powerful because it carries uh, uh, meanings or instructions. We know when we were young, maybe the Gen Zs may not really understand this. You know, our parents communicate a lot through body language, non-verbal. When you look at your your parents' face, you know what she means. You know what she wants you to do. So that is non-verbal. And we have to understand this because as public servants, it is not every communication that will be done through writing or speeches. So we have to understand this. So speech writing as tool for communication. So speech writing falls under verbal communication. Simply put, speech writing turns thoughts into structured, purposeful communication. You know, every speech is an act of leadership communication. It is a strategic tool for persuasion, reassurance, and mobilization. What is speech writing? It is an act of composing words that express ideas clearly and persuasively. It combines creativity with structure and purpose. It reflects research, understanding of audience, and clarity of message. It should reflect the principal's voice, values, and objectives. And this is very important. You see, in most cases, when you write, it is always for someone else who we regard as our principal. So, the hallmark of a good speech writer is the ability to understand his or her principal's thought process, values, and ideas. It's not your own idea. You may hold different views and opinions on an issue, but every time you put your pen to paper, you must understand the fact that it is not your speech. And so it must reflect the thoughts, the ideas of the person you are writing for, who is your principal. Now, why do leaders need well-written speeches? Because good speeches project vision, empathy, and credibility. They help leaders to articulate complex ideas simply. They reinforce policy priorities and also inspire confidence. It also serves as instruments of accountability and public trust. You know, in some climes, leaders are very mindful of what they say because they will be taken, they will be made to be accountable to what they have said. And that is why when there is um, an issue in the present, people dig into the past and bring out what someone has said in the past about such issue. So when you are, you know, making a speech or writing something today, you must do that with conviction and with the future in mind, because you can be asked, you can be 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 be, be called out on what you have said many years ago. Now, types of speeches. We have various types. The speech can be informative, persuasive speeches. You have ceremonial speeches. You have motivational speeches. You have policy-based speeches. Each of these are distinguished by their purpose. An informative speech will present data, plans, or updates. A persuasive speech is meant to influence opinion or mobilize support. A ceremonial speech is meant to celebrate or honor occasions. A motivational speech encourages performance, promotes unity, and so on and so forth. Now, components of a speech. Every speech must have three components. The speech must have the opening, it must have the body, and the conclusion. The opening sets the tone and attention. The body explains, illustrates, and develops arguments, while the conclusion drives home a memorable message. Now, how do we craft a compelling opening? I must tell you that the opening of a speech can be very challenging. It can be very challenging for any speech writer. You can spend a good time on, deciding, thinking about how to open a speech. You know, most of us are used to, you say, I'm very delighted. It is a great honor and privilege to be here, and so on and so forth. Well, I know we are, you know, um, very conversant with this kind of opening. But if you have a principal that is very creative, that wants something different, it can really be very, very, very challenging. And why is the opening very important? Because actually, you know, the first 30 seconds of a speech will decide whether you're going to have the attention of your audience. So the way you start your speech must be very compelling. You know, it should make the audience want to listen to you. There are various ways of crafting a compelling opening. You can begin with relevance. Some people begin with a story or a powerful quote. Powerful quote. I remember a speech writing course that I attended some years back, and we were talking about how to, craft a powerful opening. And I remember the facilitator said something. I think we were talking about I think malaria, the the urgency of tackling the challenge posed by malaria. And he said something. He said, one of the ways which is very, very, very um to me, it was funny to me. He said you can start by saying, yeah, like every minute, every minute there is 20 plane crashes. That is, as we are here today, a plane will crash. And with that kind of opening, people will want to listen. A plane will crash every minute. At least one plane will crash. So, and he said, yes, people will be compelled to listen because it's actually not that plane, the plane that is crashing. When a plane crashes, about you have maybe 300, 200 people dying in each crash. And he was now, comparing the death of 200 people dying every minute from malaria to a plane crashing. So you have to be very, very creative if you want to craft a compelling opening. People start an opening by telling their personal stories. And when you tell your personal story, people will want to listen to you. So it is very, 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 very uh, important that your opening must be very powerful. The opening of a speech must start with something relatable or emotionally engaging. For instance, talking to public servants, public service is not about power, but about purpose. It's something that people will want to listen to. So I leave that to your imagination. So developing an engaging body. So in the body of a speech, that is where you build ideas logically with facts, transitions, and clarity. You try as much as possible to use data and examples, relatable examples, to support your claims. And I must say here that um, you have to be very sure. If you want to use data, figures, please be sure of the data you are using. Make sure it is relevant. Make sure it is uh, 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 it is factual, because putting a wrong data in a speech, especially if you are writing for your principal, it can be very, very, very disastrous, because it will be embarrassing. So you must maintain coherence from one paragraph to the other. Every paragraph must have a point. Don't lump things together, and avoid excessive statistics or repetition. Repetition sometimes can be a way of reinforcing your message, but it must be used with caution. It must not be excessive. Now, coming to your conclusion, writing memorable conclusions. You must end your speech with vision, summary, or call to action. Your conclusion must reinforce your key message clearly. It must leave a lasting impression or inspire reflection. Every speech has a subject, and the conclusion must really emphasize the key points, what you really want people to do, the message you actually want them to take home. And it must be done in a way that it will inspire people, your listeners, to want to take action along the line that you expect. For instance, now, if Mr. Governor is addressing the people, let's say mothers, parents, on the need to immunize their children against, you know, uh, some preventable diseases. The ending must be inspiring, it must be very powerful, it must be persuasive to the point that those, the audience will, you know, will be asking for the next immunization days. And not only that, they will be prepared to be agents of change, to carry that message along with them and everywhere. So, just as the opening of a speech must be powerful enough to gain attention, the conclusion must be a call to action. Now, we've talked about the opening of the speech, the body of a speech, and the conclusion. So, what makes a good speech? What makes a good speech? Um, it must be simple. It must be clear. Simple in terms of the language. It must be clear. It must be audience focused, and it must be inspiring. It must be unambiguous and direct. It must adapt tone to suit audience and context. Indeed, every good speech must inform, connect, and inspire action. So any speech that does not have all of these cannot be regarded as a good speech, no matter the length of the speech. A very important aspect that must be considered if you want to write a good speech is the understanding of your audience. In fact, before you start writing, the first question you need to ask is, who are the audience? Who are the people the speech is meant for? Because it will help you to know their needs, the values, and the expectations. Clearly, um, if you're talking to market men and women, it will be different from when you are talking to uh, you, graduates, learned people. So you have to adjust examples to the audience realities. You know, in the body of your speech, there will be a need for you to cite examples in order to draw home your points. So if you know your audience, you will know the kind of examples that connects with them. For instance, for civil servants now, connecting to service delivery and accountability, you know, service delivery, has become recurring words when you address public servants. You anticipate reaction. What will resonate or raise concern? All of these you will need to know from your understanding of your audience. It's very important. It's very important. Inspiring action through words. Great speeches move people from thought to action. Great people, great speeches move people from thought to action. You know, it is said that Adolf Hitler was a great speaker, and his speeches was strong enough, so strong to inspire his soldiers to want to go to the battlefield and lay down their lives. Words, when sincere, can ignite reform and inspire excellence. Qualities. Now, let's talk about the qualities of a good speech writer. Because a good speech writer will write good speeches. A good speech writer must be a researcher. He must be a good listener. He must be a good thinker. And he must be a good observer. Because being a good speech writer is not just about being able to speak good English. And that is why you find good writers in medical doctors, you find engineers, such professionals that are very good writers, not necessarily being a graduate of English. So it is a skill. It's a skill that can be developed. You must just have a flair for it. If you don't have the flair, then you cannot be a good speech writer. It's not about I understand English. No, you must be a good thinker. You must have an analytical mind. You must be able to look at things objectively, issues objectively. Now, I have said this before. A good writer must understand the principles, mindset, and tone. You know, you must be able to say with some level of accuracy what your principal will say when an issue comes up. You must be able to do that. Talking about, let's say, the issue on federalism, fiscal federalism. Now, you must know the mindset, the opinion of your principal. And you must also understand, um, well, um, I have written for people in the past who I got to know have difficulty in pronouncing some words. So it will take you, as a good speechwriter, to understand such things. So when you know that, so you try as much as possible to avoid those words, those tongue twisting words. You must write with discipline, context, and discretion. You must know the context so that you don't write out of context. You must be creative, yet factual. That is emotion grounded in truth. I said that when I was talking about writing a compelling opening. A good speechwriter must be creative, but you must not sacrifice facts on the altar of creativity. Now, the speechwriter's toolkit. Just like an engineer, a medical doctor, the toolkit of a speechwriter, books you must read. A good speechwriter must read. He must always research. A good speechwriter must reflect. You must read widely on all issues, every issue. Because for instance, as a speechwriter to the governor, you must be ready to write on all issues. The governor will be invited to events that have to do with, medical practice, ICT, agriculture, all sectors. So a good speechwriter must be able to give a good draft, you know, on any issue, governance, current affairs, literature, arts, science, anything. You must research facts and data to support policy communication. And like I said, reflection, a good one of the tools. You must reflect before writing. Reflect on the subject matter because clarity precedes composition. You must be clear in your mind about the subject before you put pen to paper. I have talked about understanding the principal's voice. You must adapt tone and perspective to reflect uh, his or her vision. Because your principal's credibility depends on how their message sounds. Learn speech patterns, values, and preferred style. A good speech writer makes his or her principal sound authentic and inspiring. In the course of your writing, you know, a good speech writer must be ready to, to deliver within short time. So, managing tight deadlines, because you may have to deliver a draft in 1 hour, in 2 hours, even in 30 minutes. So, to be able to do this, you must be able to think fast, think on your feet, write clearly, and deliver on time. To be able to do this, you must prioritize clarity over perfection. And at the same time, you must maintain calm under pressure. And very important, you must build templates for different occasions, policy speeches, ceremonial, crisis speeches, and so on and so forth. There must be a template of such. Now, my final reflections. Speech writing bridges leadership vision and public understanding because words shape perception. trust, and engagement. Sometimes good communication is good governance. Because when people understand what you're doing, they will support you. They will understand. They will show understanding when you are faced with challenges. You will must try to enlighten, to inspire, and to serve. Effective communication is the mark of true leadership. As civil servants, our words to reflect integrity and empathy. Every memo, report, and speech contributes to the public's experience of governance. Let our communication inspire confidence, clarity, and service. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I want to thank you for your attention and to say that this presentation is not meant to really build in you a good speech writer, but to share with you some of the salient points that you need to know. Perhaps you may one day develop the skill or want to develop the skill that will make you a good speech writer. I was, before my appointment as permanent secretary, I was director, speech writers department, speech writing department. And I know how difficult it has been to really get people interested in coming to the speech villa. In fact, when you accost people and you tell them, speech, they tell you, no, I cannot. And everyone that is deployed to the speech writing department, the first question that people will ask you when you tell them, where are you? It's Taloshe. It is seen as a pariah ground where you must try as much as possible to avoid. But for me, it has been a very, very, very good experience. And I know that it is a skill. Not everybody can develop that skill. Not everybody has that skill. But let us try as much as possible to understand the basic things that we need to know about speech writing, because what we write and what we say really will go a long way to describe who we are and what quality we possess. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Can I see your emojis? Let your emojis keep on coming. We are like 1,000 here. and I'm seeing only one emoji.
Mhm.
Let's appreciate our facilitators for this practical, insightful session. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. On behalf of the Public Service Knowledge Hub, we extend our appreciation to the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria Lagos Chapter for their collaboration and sponsorship support towards the expansion of our Zoom capacity. Before on our call, we have a 300, 500 capacity, but due to the intervention of Union, we'll be able to expand into 1,000 capacity. And they are even prepared to add more for us. This support has enabled many more eligible officers to participate in this 2026 promotion exercise tutorial series. Initially, today's call is not meant for promotion series. We designed it for our Sunday knowledge sharing call. But unfortunately, the promotion exercise clashed to it, so we have to merge it together and to go with it. So we thank the union leadership for this selfless commitment to staff welfare, development, and knowledge empowerment. At this point, it is my honor and privilege to invite the chairman of union to address the participants. The chairman, are you on the call? Unmute yourself if you're on the call.
Yeah, yes, I'm on the call, please. Good evening,
Okay.
everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you very
You
much.
have the floor, sir.
Yeah, thank you very
All
much. I want to use this opportunity to thank and appreciate our permanent secretary, the PS Office of the Chief of Staff, for sharing your word of experience, with all the members of the Lagos State Public Service, especially members of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria and any other public servants that are here on board. We want to thank you. Fortunately, this program clashes with the one we are doing because of the new arrangement that we're having on board now for the promotion exercise. So we're trying to do this to ensure that to remove the fears that our members are having. We know that what is on board now is basically to improve and to strengthen the system and then to improve the capacity of our members. And that is the whole essence of. I want to believe that with what you have shared with us today is going to help a lot at the promotion examination that we're having. And I want to also assure our members, the public servants that are due for the promotion, to have it at the back of their minds that the system is not out there to win shot anybody. It is essentially to improve the capacity of the staff of the Lagos State Public Service. And the essence is to, which will also translate to improve service delivery. That is to be able to service the entire citizen of Lagosians. I mean, the residents of the state. And on this note, I want to, appreciate you, sir, and also to appreciate the coordinator of Knowledge Hub for putting all of this together for the benefit of our members. And I want to pray that at the end of the day of the promotion exercise, everyone participating will have that cause to glorify God. And I want to wish them congratulations in advance. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me see your emojis to appreciate Mr. Chairman for this message. Once again, thank you very much, my peers, for that insightful and practical presentation. We sincerely appreciate the depth of knowledge shared and the clarity provided on the principle and techniques of effective speech writing. At this point, we will proceed to the question and answer segment. If you are on the Zoom, kindly use the raise hand feature so we can call on you in order. If you are joining us on YouTube, feel free to drop your question in the comment section. We will take them as they come in. This is an opportunity to seek clarification and ask practical questions and engage directly with our permanent secretary. Please keep your question brief, clear, and connected to the topic so we can accommodate as many people as possible. Once again, thank you for your attention. We will now take your question. So, as our norms here, if I call on you, your name, your ministry, and let your question be brief. Sir, are you still with us, sir? My PSR.
Very well.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Lamino, your name, your ministry, and brief. You have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator, sir, and good evening, my permanent secretary.
Good evening.
We really appreciate your...
Can you please close to your mic?
Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me very well?
All right. Good evening.
My name is Lamino
Clearly now,
Olubenga
sir.
from Lamino Olubenga from Ministry of Agric and Food Systems.
Are you with us, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
We
Can you hear
barely
me?
hear you, sir.
Oh,
I can hear you.
We barely hear you.
my name is Lamino from Ministry of Agric and Food Systems. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello? Okay.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
okay, thank you, my permanent secretary, sir. I want to ask, do you receive brief from your principal before writing the speech, or is it after you present the first draft that the input of the principal comes in? That's my first question. And number two is that you spoke about templates for different types of speeches. These templates, are they something like this format or something like you develop on your own for each of the speeches for different occasions and events? Then lastly, I want to ask, has there been a time that, personally now, if there has been a time that you prepare a speech and the principal feels it is not worthy of what he's going to present? Those are just my questions, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the good
Thank you
reaction,
very
sir.
much, sir. Stay with us and listen for the feedback. My
Yes,
PS,
and
are you still with us, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
You have the floor, sir.
I'm with you. Okay. Now, talking about templates, it comes with experience. Years of experience on the job. And if you listen very carefully, listen for you developing a template for different kinds of speeches is to prepare you for very tight deadlines. You may not have the time, all the time, to do great justice to your speeches. So that is why you need to have templates, and it comes with experience. Now, whether I've had occasions when my principal considered my speech not up to standard. Yes, every speechwriter would experience this. Every speechwriter. And I read a book written by a former speechwriter to, I think, former President Bill Clinton of the United States of America. And I read there that he wrote a speech for the president. And the president reviewed the speech. And that at the end of it, the final speech that came out only have a sentence of what he had written, preserved. And he said he was so happy about that. So every speechwriter will have that experience. Now, I think your first question, okay, whether you have a brief from your principal before writing your draft. In most cases, the principal is too busy to sit down with you for every engagement that is going to need a speech. So in most cases, most often, you won't have that, I call it luxury. You will have to prepare the draft yourself and present to your principal to review. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Yusuf Mopelola. Yusuf Mopelola, unmute yourself. Your name, your ministry. We can't
Thank
hear
you
you.
so much for this. Okay. Yusuf Mopelola. I'm from Agege local government. I want
we
to
can't
thank
hear you.
For this.
Your
Okay, my
network
name
is breaking.
Yusuf Mopelola.
Your network is breaking.
Hello. I'll put
Morenikeji Oladosu. Jakiruddin Logun.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Your name, your ministry.
My name is Logun Shakiruddin, Local Government Service Commission. I want to thank you for the motivating, captivating, and inspiring lecture, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for your service too, sir. Sir, I would like to ask if there's a formal training towards becoming a speechwriter. Then the second question is that, do you review your speeches with your principal? That is talking about the carriage, the body language, and all that, sir. Then thirdly, sir, are you open to mentorship or mentoring to intending speechwriter who might want to take that as a passion? That would be my question, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that question. There are, you can be trained to become a good speechwriter. But my experience has shown that you must have it in you. Before I was deployed to the speechwriting department, I'd never written a speech before then. But maybe some people, saw the potentials in my maybe submission, report, writing, and all of that. But you can be trained. You can be trained. Now, to sit with your principal to reduce your speeches. Well, it depends on the level. If it's Mr. Governor now, occasionally, yes, but most often the speeches go and notes are made on the draft, on areas that you need to look at again, and it comes back to you. And mentorship, yes, I'm available, I'm open. It's do that as part of my, service, giving back to the service. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Olaniyan Abiodun, unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Your name,
My
your
name is
ministry.
Engineer Olaniyan Abiodun Sheriff, Office of Drainage Services, Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources.
All
Sir,
right, sir.
I just want to clarify if there's distinction between speech writing and report writing, because as a professional, we deal so much in technical report writing. Is there a kind of distinction or they are similar, sir? Thank you very much.
Yes, there are similarities and there are distinctions. In the structure, yes, you have in your report, you have the opening, the body, and the conclusion, recommendations now, and all of that. But a speech is more than that. If you listened very carefully, we talked about audience. We talked about audience, and we talked about the purpose is expected to serve is to inform, and it must also be to inform, to educate, to be persuasive, to be motivational, and all of that. You don't have that in report. A report is a report, and the opening, when I was talking about the opening, you tell stories, you can tell stories to engage the attention of your audience. You don't have that in report writing. Report writing is much more straightforward than speech writing. I hope I've answered the question.
All right, sir. Jankalawi Afusat, you have the floor.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
I'm Jakala. We have Sir Tolufunmilayo from Office of Solicitor General, President, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. I want to ask, I have two questions, sir. My first question is type of speech. I want you to expatiate on it. And the second one, you were talking about who are the people speech writer is meant for, their value and expectation. I want it also in detail, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The second one is talking about your audience. Talking about your audience. You have your audience. So when you know your audience, you know their values and all of that. It's very important for you to know your audience because it will go a long way to really know how to craft your speech to suit their level of understanding. I gave an example. I said, if you're writing for market men and women now, or if you're writing for you have to understand their language in order for you to be able to communicate effectively with them. Okay, and the second one, types of speeches. Yes, types of speeches. You know, it depends on the angle from which you're looking at it. I said informative, persuasive, ceremonial, motivational, policy-based. You know, you can also look at it from the point of speeches and the other side. You know, you can be somewhere now. Impromptu speech is a kind of speech that you have to deliver, you know, without prior notice. But the ones that I have discussed here, informative, you want to inform. You want to inform. For instance, now, I'm trying to look for an example. Okay, now, for those that are writing this promotion exam, I think there was a gathering, a briefing, you know, it's informative. They will tell you what you should expect. You are to be informed. You are to receive information on what you need to know in order to prepare or to take a particular action. It can be persuasive, you know, and most speeches have, you know, different level of persuasion, doses of persuasion in them. Because, you know, we are not in democracy. So there has to be some form of persuasion, in your speeches, in the way you write. If you really want people to take certain actions, you have to persuade them. You should not be commanding in your language. That is persuasive. Ceremonial, ceremonies, and if you look at these types of speeches, motivational and policy based, their level of depth. If you're talking about ceremonial speeches, it's not expected to be long, and it's not expected to be too serious. If you're talking about motivational speeches now, will have, I expect, will have quotes. You want to quote some great men and women, you want to, it will be replete with examples. Motivational, you will talk, you have to talk, you have to really touch their emotions, so policy, that is a serious one that will also have some doses of information in them, some explanations, and may also contain some technicalities which you will have to break down, for the understanding of your audience. I hope I have done little justice to that.
Yes, sir. Perfectly, sir. Ganiu Ahmed. Ganiu Ahmed. Ganiu Ahmed, are you still with us?
Okay.
Okay. Folashade Adebayo. Folashade Adebayo.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Permanent Secretary. Thank you so much for your insightful...
Your name, your ministry.
My name is Folashade Adebayo, Ministry of Information and Strategy. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful, relatable, and excellent lecture, sir. As a public affairs officer, I find it very, very useful. And I would like to ask this following question, sir. Number one, what is the minimum paragraph or slide for a ceremonial speech, considering the fact that it is not informative and all that? So it's a ceremonial speech. What is the acceptable minimum paragraph? Number two, in case of a mixed multitude, a mixed audience, for example, maybe market women, technical people, corporate people, how do you balance the speech? And what is the acceptable language to use so that you can catch the attention of everybody? And lastly, sir, this one is a plea that based on your experience and expertise, could you please do us a favor of writing a guidebook for some of us in the service who are interested or who have a flair for writing? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes. The minimum paragraph of the slide for ceremonial speech. Personally, I don't really For ceremonial speeches, I don't really expect that to be, a presentation in slides. That's a personal opinion. But if you have to do slides, I said it must not be too long. Maybe a minimum of 5 and then maximum of 7. Maximum of 7 for a ceremonial speech. Now, mixed audience, how do you balance? This has to do, with delivery. And what we're talking about now is writing, speech writing. And to be able to pass on your message to a mixed audience. Mixed audience, mixed and different audience. It will take an experienced speaker to be able to do that, because the best that you can do in your writing is to make sure that that you come down to the level of the least educated, the least exposed. The least educated, the least, exposed. If you do that, then those who are more educated will still relate to what you're saying. But if you take it from the most learned in the audience, then you must know for sure that you have lost some, a great number of the audience. So number one is to make your speech as much as possible to be, to relate with those on the lower rung of the ladder, which those at the top will also relate with. And number two is to have, one thing is to have a good speech, and the other is to have a good delivery. They are two different skills. And that is why a good speechwriter may not necessarily be a good speaker. I hope you understand. So it will be a combination of that, of having a good speaker, somebody who can deliver the speech, and he or she will, along the line, in the course of the speech, now pause to explain, maybe in local language, so that he will be able to, carry everybody along. But for the writer, you have to go down to the least maybe educated person by using simple words, simple words, which in any case, the well-educated will also relate with, will also understand. So that's what I say about that. Now, write a guide, a book, to guide upcoming speech writers. Yes, it's something I can do, and I will really love to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Omololu Sanwo, are you ready for us now?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Name your
evening.
ministry.
Yes, my name is Omololu Sanwo. I work at Lagos Television. I want to thank the permanent secretary. I also want to thank the media, the Knowledge Hub team. I want to quickly keep it short and simple, as the PS has said. Let's quickly go to the barriers of communication that he mentioned. He talked about psychological barriers. He mentioned semantic barriers. I want to know if that is semantic noise. Is this semantic noise he's talking about? Then the psychological one, what is he talking about? Then also I'd like to also know some solutions to the barriers that he mentioned. He talked about open dialogue. I'm sure there will be other solutions. He mentioned open dialogue, which I heard very well. I'm not sure if I will say repetition is also very, very key to it, because by the time you mention things severally, people will understand it. So I would want the PS to also help us look into that. Those are the two things I want us to quickly wanting to talk about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, repetition. Yeah, I said it. I said repetition can be good, can really be helpful in, um, drawing home your points, but it must not be done excessively. Excessively. When you repeat again and again, the impression that gives to your audience is that you have run out of ideas. You don't know what you really want to say again. So it has to be used with caution. It must not be excessive. So when I talked about barriers to effective communications, semantics, there are some words that have the same meaning, but they sound
different.
Yes, sometimes we say it's a matter of semantics.
Yes.
That is, you could have used this word, which was still, mean the same thing. So what that is saying is that where you have two words with the same meaning, choose the one that is simpler, that people, most people can understand. That is just what that is saying. Psychological. Yes, the way it talks about the way we view things, the way we interpret things. And the state of mind also, it's okay if you're talking to somebody someone that is troubled in his or her mind. Or let's talk about very simple one now. A hungry person now will see everything you are talking about from the point of food. From the point of food. So that's so you won't really go along with you. Or some other things that that affects the mind, the way you view things, the way you interpret things, because of your state of mind at that particular point in time, is a barrier to effective communication. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
Any other question? Mm. Mm. What's the question?
Hello, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello?
I was kicked out by network. Adelaja, Adebambo.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
You have the floor, sir.
My name is Adelaja Dibambo. I'm from the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems. Sir, I want to ask you, sir, if in the speech writing department, there is a provision, for instance, when the governor is going to go out to speak, where you have the audience who probably we can say will not want to be communicated to in English language. Do you prepare speeches also in Yoruba, or do you have to leave the principal to do the interpretation as he deems fit when he gets to encounter the audience? Is this also part of what you do? Because I see in the north, sometimes you see their governors, when they come around, they're addressing them in Hausa language. Do we have occasions like that when His Excellency will have to address the audience using Yoruba and you have prepared speech for him in that manner? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We don't prepare speeches in Yoruba. Thank God we have, all the governors that we have had, including the present one, can really communicate in Yoruba. So when they get to the occasion, get to, the event, and the occasion demands that they speak in Yoruba, they will do that. The one you talk about in the north, I'm not very sure if they have it written in Hausa language, or they just speak in Hausa. I'm not sure if it is written down in that language. The best that we do is, if there is a need for the governor to maybe sing a song in Yoruba, it will be stated, put in brackets in the speech, and it is accepted as a guide to your principal. If you're writing and you get to a point where your principal is expected to expatiate on something, you make a note there, so that when the governor gets there, he understands, what to do. And you're even talking about whether when the governor gets, there could be instances, there are instances where the governor gets to an occasion, and because of what he has observed, he might decide to even put the speech, the written speech aside, and now talk, to the people off the cuff. So the situation, demands that, and he has to go by that if he really wants to communicate with the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, Angela Brown. Unmute yourself, Angela Brown.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Angela Brown from Ministry of Youth and Social Development. I lean on the existing protocol, sir. I got about 3 questions here. 3 questions. Number 1, the relationship. I want you to please expatiate further on the relationship between speech, memo, and the report writing. Then number 2, I thought you were even going to take us on memo writing, or does it mean it's not in any way germane to the course of this forthcoming examination, sir? Then the third one is if it's possible that you dish out some materials for us to go through to upgrade and educate us further, and to make us succeed in the forthcoming examination. Thank you very much for your effort, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
So the one on the memo writing, and that if whether it's not germane to the forthcoming promotion exam. Yeah, I don't know if you actually started with us, because I said the organizers gave me a topic, and they didn't tell me that this was for promotion exam exercise. I understood that this is a regular knowledge sharing session, that had always been going on, and that it's just that this one coincides with the exam season. So it's really not. So I limited myself to the topic that I was given. So I didn't get the other questions.
Okay, sir. Um, because of the time, I will pick only one more person now so that we can call it a day. Because tomorrow is Monday and we still have another session tomorrow. Funke Thompson, please, quick one.
All right, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
I
evening.
want to appreciate the PS for the insightful teaching tonight. My question is not really question per se, sir.
Your ministry, ma.
I'm from Ministry of Environment and Water Resources.
Okay, ma.
Office of Environmental Services. I understood that we have English across disciplines, sir. And in report writing, we have technical report writing, then scientific ways of writing. Is there any approach when we get to the examination hall, the scientists, the engineers, the way we write our reports, is there any penalty to that, sir? So I just want you to do the comparative between the technical report and the scientific writing, sir.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, in a promotion exercise like this, where you have multitudes of people cutting across disciplines, I think the basic thing that the examiner will be looking out is your of the basics of report writing. The basics of report writing. So I don't think it's really going to be about the depth, of what is written itself. Although what you write must make sense. But I think what the examiner will actually be looking out for is your understanding of what a report is, what the basic components of a report. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Father Airo Oluwarotimi, quick one.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, PS.
Good evening.
Somebody spoke about memo writing. I think that, for my best of my knowledge, there are two kinds of memo. When you talk about ESCO memo, it's different from writing down memo. Maybe I will appeal to the organizer if they can also bring somebody up on to talk to us on memo writing, executive memo writing for ESCO. Different from memo. I mean, executive council meeting is different from memo or the writing of that memo. If somebody can be invited to talk to us on that, I'll be grateful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fadairu. Just stay put with us. Before Monday, the PS cabinet is coming to do justice to that, as in the not present one, the former recent retired former permanent secretary cabinet is coming to do justice to that. We got you covered on that. So thank you very much once again, everybody, for your time and your contribution towards this. Thank you very much, sir. Our normal norms here, we call on one of the participants to give a vote of thanks and appreciate our permanent secretary, our facilitator, on behalf of the participant. So I will call on the last caller, the last man, Mr. Fadairu, to appreciate Mr. Fadairu Rotimi, please unmute yourself and give thanks to the facilitator.
Thank you, my PS.
Mr. Fadairu.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, my PS. You really joined justice to the topic, and if without any gainsay, I've learned so many things about how to write speech and how to get the start, how to begin a speech, and how to get to your audience. And it's just not just writing. You need to. Some speech are meant to be. You have to. You need to do a lot of research. And thank you very much, sir. I'm grateful. On behalf of everybody here, I thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir, Mr. Fadairu. Once again, thank you very much, my permanent secretary, sir, for this practical, insightful. I learn as I'm talking. Please, can you share? Let's see your emojis. Let your emojis keep on coming to make sure appreciate that. Let it start coming. So thank you very much, sir, and thank you, Union Association of Senior Civil Servants, for this opportunity, for coming to our aid for the expansion of the capacity. Sir, we are Oliver Twist. We will come back again and call you again, sir. I hope you are ready for us. And thank you. We appreciate, sir, if you can help us do justice to our request on the, get some, if not slide or maybe some pamphlets to guide us so that we can share with our member, because this our program is to enlighten and add knowledge to the all public servants in Lagos State. So thank you very much, sir, for your time. Thank you for coming. We are grateful, sir.
Thank you very much. It's
Yes, sir.
been a great pleasure and being on this call with everyone. I have also learned some things, and in the course of preparing for this presentation, I have also come across new things, and I must also say that the questions that participants asked have also enriched me more, on speech writing. Knowledge has no end, and you cannot claim to know it all. So we all strive, to improve on what we know. Thank you very much, and I wish everyone that in and good night.
Thank you, sir. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we are having 3 sessions tomorrow, 1, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Please stay glued with us for continuous learning. Tomorrow, Monday, we have 3 sessions, so we will share the update across. Thank you, sir. Thank you, every one of you. Good night. Have a lovely night rest. Bye.